From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
How can you live like that, go to sleep and know that in the morning maybe family members won't be there?
Protesters around the country reacting to Donald Trump's election, but dreamers in Arizona are trying to stay optimistic. How DACA recipients are feeling about the future president.
And after a crazy election, the dust begins to settle. New members in Congress get over their first-day jitters as they take their first steps into the Capitol.
And she was a pioneering member of the media, in print and on TV. We look back at the life, career, and influence of Gwen Ifill.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Kate Pfeiffer.
And I'm Joey Carrera. Thanks for joining us.
Many immigrant families are still in fear of deportation, even after President-elect Donald Trump steps back from parts of his original immigration policy, which talked of mass deportations. Cronkite News reporter Alicia Gonzalez found out why some say they will never feel at ease.
I attended an open mic and prayer vigil hosted by Promise Arizona last night. Their leader said she just wanted to get a feel for how the community was feeling after the election. Many said it's in God's hands now, but they're scared they're going to see nationwide anti-immigration laws.
Because when a person says that, he tries to go back and says he didn't say it. I don't fall for that, you know.
Julio Talamantes has been living in the United States since he was 3 years old. He and others say they're having a hard time forgetting Trump's initial immigration plan.
He said that, are they going to come for me? And so that was just, just very painful for me to hear, that how can you live like that, go to sleep and know that in the morning maybe family members won't be there.
Angelica Bernabe is a U.S. citizen, but she says she has many friends, cousins, and teachers who are on the DACA program. She fears it won't be long until they're gone.
Having them with that much joy, the support that they pour into us, it's really special, and I feel that that's going to fall apart with everything that's happening.
But Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan, tried to assure the American people that deportation is not Trump's focus.
We believe an enforcement bill, a border security enforcement bill, is really the first priority, and that's what we're focused on. We are not planning on erecting a deportation force. Donald Trump's not planning on that.
Bernabe says no matter what she hears now, she doesn't have much hope after listening to Trump's campaign for months.
People that are stable here, I've had comments about it. Don't worry about it. Maybe it's going to change this country. Maybe it's for good. I just want them to be in our shoes. I want those people to think about 6 months going without their kids.
Promise Arizona program director said they are going to continue to build up the community and keep Trump accountable for the next 4 years. In the broadcast center, Alicia Gonzalez, Cronkite News.
Despite the current rhetoric, leaders of Latino organizations say they are willing to work with President-elect Donald Trump and his cabinet. Isabella Scalise in Washington, D.C., where these groups are asking for a meeting with the new administration.
In anticipation for that first meeting with the administration, we look forward to having dialogue on the direction that we're going to go as a country, because there are a lot of uncertainties.
This was the tone as leaders of half a dozen Latino groups met in the wake of the election last week. But those uncertainties were very much on the minds of the leaders here.
I woke up the day after the election feeling that I was a stranger in my own country.
Voto Latino is receiving increased communications from families scared for their children. We need a declaration that this is not okay.
In an interview last night on 60 Minutes, Trump said he was saddened by reports of harassment and said people should just stop it.
That's the environment we live in today. And that's the cycle and the thought that we have to change. And it's only going to change with dialogue with President-elect Trump and his cabinet.
But Trump last night also reaffirmed his commitment to secure the border and deport millions of immigrants here illegally, focusing on those who have committed crimes. Back in D.C., Latino leaders say they look forward to cooperation and communication from Trump, but warn that they will push back if the rhetoric doesn't improve.
But make no mistake about it. Is change coming? Yes. Is there a fight probably coming? You can probably count on it.
In Washington, D.C., Isabella Scalise, Cronkite News.
We reached out to those groups today to see if they have heard back from Trump's transition team. A spokesperson from the Naleo Education Fund said they have not heard back from their request, but they understand this is a busy time for the president-elect and his team. President-elect Donald Trump's staff members are in their first full week of work. Part of that work includes choosing the rest of Trump's team. Trump put Vice President Mike Pence in charge of making suggestions for those open positions. Today, Pence spoke about what he's looking for in future staff members.
We are looking for men and women who share the president-elect's vision to make America great again. We have a great number of people around the country who we can draw from.
Some of those positions have already been filled as the new White House staff begins to take shape. Trump appointed GOP Chief Reince Priebus as his chief of staff Sunday. And in a controversial move, Trump chose Breitbart News executive Stephen Bannon as his chief strategist and senior counselor. Bannon has ties to the white nationalist movement and the alt-right. Priebus supported Bannon's appointment while on the Today Show. He says that Bannon hasn't exhibited the racist or sexist qualities that have been attributed to him and Breitbart News. The Trump administration says more appointments will be made in the coming weeks.
6 days past the election, Arizona ballots are still being counted. Around 200,000 ballots are left to count across Arizona. According to Garrett Archer, the Assistant Director for Elections for the Secretary of State's office, Maricopa County has the largest amount of ballots left to be counted in the state. Maricopa County Recorder Helen Purcell tweeted Sunday that approximately 112,000 early ballots still need to be counted. She expects them to be counted by Tuesday. There are also 55,000 provisional ballots that need to be processed. Purcell estimates they will be done by Friday.
The news world lost one of its icons as PBS News anchor Gwen Ifill passed away after her battle with cancer. Ifill was an award-winning journalist. She had an historic career with stints at the New York Times and the Washington Post before becoming co-anchor and managing editor of PBS NewsHour. Ifill became one of the first African-American journalists to host a national politics show when she took over Washington Week in Review in 1999. We spoke to a friend and former colleague at the Washington Post about what made Ifill special.
She studied whatever the issue was and made sure that she knew what was going on from a public policy standpoint, from a political standpoint. Just a really good student of the craft, a good student of interviewing and listening to people. And I think that's what set her apart. That's one thing. But she also came across as being a very competent journalist, but also a warm journalist.
Just a few weeks ago, Gwen Ifill was a part of the celebration of the life of Walter Cronkite at the museum in Washington, D.C. We wanted to share with you some of Ifill's thoughts on the future of the journalism industry she held so dear.
Oh, imagine my shock and surprise and pleasure with the first time I met Walter Cronkite, to have him actually with knowledge acknowledge that he watched me on the news every night, and which of course scared the hell out of me, because all of a sudden you realized it was a standard that you were trying to meet. But here's the thing. So many of us in our business are attempting to achieve that level of trust. And what we know to be true about our business right now, television and newspapers and radio and blogs and all the things we are, is that we're not there anymore. That nobody looks at any one of us and says, you, whatever that comes out of your mouth, that I trust. But the best of us are striving for that every single night. And we're striving for it with Walter Cronkite's face in our heads, with the idea, not that we're ever going to be at the place where if we say it, you believe it instantly, but the fact that if we say it, it's because it's backed up, because it's reported. It's not just my opinion. It's not just my bright, clever witticism. The salvation for the news business, I've had the beauty of being on this stage many times to talk about different news moments in our history. And the salvation for the news business is that we try to be more like that and not less like that. There's, as you know, an entire swath of the news business which doesn't understand what that means, which doesn't understand that telling a story and who tells the story and what voices you hear and the kinds of voices you hear is as important as what comes out of the anchor's mouth or comes out of the reporter's mouth. And my goal, I'm involved with a group called the News Literacy Project, which is going into high schools and trying to tell people, train young people in what to hear or what to believe. And I think that that's our goal for the next generation, not only of journalists, but also of news consumers who are getting their information from so many places. And I think Walter would be proud of that approach to how we cover the news.
We'll continue to cover the death of Gwen Ifill and her impact on public affairs reporting tonight on Arizona Horizon. We'll be right back.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. Now.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Monday, November 21st at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring this year's recipient, award-winning journalist and CBS Evening News anchor Scott Pelley. The annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon. cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
There's been a lot of focus on the presidential transition, but the newly elected members of Congress have their own transition to make. Cronkite News reporter Claire Caulfield was at the new House member orientation in Washington, D.C.
Newly elected members of the House of Representatives have a very busy week ahead of freshman orientation. Members from all over the country flew in today to get their parking space, handbook, and their bearings at the nation's capital. Arizona has 2 freshman members in the House of Representatives, and they have a busy couple of weeks before the 115th Congress begins. New members have to learn the rules, hire staff, set up offices, and meet with their 535 colleagues.
It's going to be acclimating yourself to that changing environment and networking with people and collaborating with people. It's going to be a different environment, but a friendly environment, I hope.
Republican Andy Biggs, the other freshman Arizonan, said so far everyone has been very friendly and cordial, although he noted no votes have been cast yet. Members of the 115th Congress have a lot on their plate, but not until they get their class photos taken tomorrow. In Washington, D.C., Claire Caulfield, Cronkite News.
South Mountain Park is receiving a makeover to the tune of $23 million. Cronkite News reporter Caitlin Greno tells us what's to come in the upgrade.
The project is meant to improve visitor experience by renovating and building facilities like new ramadas and restrooms at the park.
I think more people would be wanting to come out and hike and experience it, and more people might feel safe and attracted if it was kept up a little better.
Phoenix resident Leslie Bondi's feet know these trails. She's been hiking South Mountain for 12 years. And Phoenix's Vice Mayor Kate Gallego agrees with Bondi's assessment. It's time the park got some well-deserved care.
The plan was developed in consultation with community stakeholders, and it's a very comprehensive plan that includes upgrades to parking facilities, the ramadas that create shade for events and picnics, better trails, a great new trailhead and monument that will help mark the entry to South Mountain Park.
Supporters of South Mountain Park believe the upgrade is overdue.
Personally, I like it. Professionally, I love it. Personally, because the government wastes so much money that I think that anytime they invest it in infrastructure, especially the recreational opportunities for citizens, it's a great thing. Professionally, I love it. The amenities at South Mountain have needed some refreshing for quite a while.
The improvements will be completed in time for the park's 100th birthday.
We will have a large celebration for the 100th anniversary and really mark the unique history of South Mountain Park It has a great story and has played an important role in so many Phoenicians' lives.
Bondi is one of those impacted by the park and thinks visitors will appreciate the makeover.
I don't know where else in the Southwest you get these beautiful mountains, and our climate is perfect.
The renovations start next year and will take up to 5 years to complete, just in time for the 100th celebration in 2024. Live in downtown Phoenix, Caitlin Greno, Cronkite News.
Tucson is looking to expand its distracted driving laws. A new proposal would prohibit drivers from using cell phones without hands-free accessories. It would allow officers to pull someone over for using a cell phone while driving, making it a primary offense. The proposal is still in its draft phase, and Tucson currently bans texting while driving.
Matrix Industries has created a smartwatch that is completely powered by your body heat. It's called the Power Watch, and it has all of your basic fitness trackers like step counters. The company says it plans to use similar technology in other areas like healthcare, manufacturing, and shipping. The company hopes that the new technology can be used in place of batteries for hearing aids and pacemakers.
Samsung is trying to get ahead in the auto sector after announcing they bought Harman International Industries. Harman International Industries makes infotainment, safety and security systems for cars. This move comes after Apple and Google also made investments in the auto industry. It gives Samsung room to grow after challenges in the smartphone business. Samsung had to stop production of the Galaxy Note 7 after complaints about the phone bursting into flames. Cows tend to live a short life on the farm. Coming up on Cronkite News, how a Santan Valley organization is creating a safe haven that will have those cows over the moon.
And speaking of over the moon, we have a site for you that's out of this world coming up after the break.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, I'm always searching to feel like I fit into something.
We are the people that we are because of our past.
It's complicated. They said we never make it this far. But
I'm just one of many who stopped being silent.
they said the fight would break us. The struggle helped to make who we are.
It's just proof of how far we have come.
Make sure in all the hustle and bustle, we don't lose sight of why we're here.
It all boils down to communicating the lives we live.
If you look closely, they've got a story to tell.
He connects with you in a very deep way.
We wish you love, peace, and soul.
Come with us on this great adventure.
Cows are a sacred animal in Indian culture, and letting one be killed is a sin. As Anthony Marroquin reports, one group of advocates in the valley has taken it upon themselves to protect as many as possible.
In the Santan Valley, green pastures are home to a goshala. It means cow shelter in Sanskrit, and I went down to the far west valley to figure out why this bovine haven is so important to the community there. It's a culture not many people get to see outside of their television set. The Discover India Festival helps educate and spread the messages of Indian culture to our community. But for one group, the message is much more practical.
The concept of the goshala, as you could see, is to save the cows. And it may sound funny to some people, but the Indian culture traditionally, they revere most of the animals and cows.
To them, there's no difference between the cows and your pets at home.
Cows are just like animals, just like dogs and cats, and we know how precious they are for us, and we treat them like our children. Same way, cows are also like that. No, that's not a banana.
The relationship with the cow is viewed like an economy. It provides life in the form of milk, and the owner provides the cows with a secure life. Kill the cow, and you're breaking your contract.
You have used the good part, which is milk, and then you have sent the cow to the slaughterhouse. You are able to consume its meat. So that economy is selfish economy.
But keep the cow safe, and they say it will keep providing long after it retires from its milking days. The message doesn't just apply to cows. Goshala tries to aim to raise awareness of fair treatment of all animals around the world. In the media center, Anthony Marroquin, Cronkite News.
Peoria fire crews are on their way across the country to help battle a wildfire in North Carolina. State officials asked fire crews nationwide to assist in controlling the Party Rock fire. The Peoria Fire Medical Department sent 2 crew members and a truck to help fight the blaze. Surprise and Daisy Mountain Fire Departments also sent crew members. The fire has burned through close to 3,000 acres and is only 15% contained. More than 5,000 firefighters from around the country are headed to North Carolina to help battle the flames. Mother Nature is showing off this week with one of the largest supermoons in history.
And if you were up early this morning, you might have seen this rare occurrence. A supermoon occurs when a full moon appears on the same orbit that is closest to Earth. Scientists say that we haven't seen the moon this large since 1948, and it isn't likely to be this big again until 2034. Last night's supermoon astounded stargazers around the globe, with people sharing their supermoon photos on social media from here in the States all the way to Russia. So if you're going to be out tonight, you will also have the chance to see some of the supermoon still lingering in the sky. So if you're out there and you snap a photo, please share it with us. You can tweet it to us at Cronkite News on Twitter. Now, bringing it back to the Earth, and more specifically the Valley, our forecast this week is all over the place. We start out with high temperatures, then we go to wind gusts, and then finally, towards the middle of the week, we start to cool down. So that's, we're sitting at 85 degrees right now. This is a look, the 51 from our ADOT camera. The winds are coming in from the southwest at 5 miles an hour. And the 85 degrees is a little bit elevated for this time of the year, and that's because of a high pressure system that we have that's going across the valley. So that's bringing us elevated temperatures, and it's also bringing much drier conditions. And that's all going to change as we progress through the week. As you can see on the screen here, all of these areas in blue and green and yellow, these are wind gusts that will be going across the state. It looks like it's going to be strongest on Thursday at 1 a.m. and the winds could get up to at least 25 to 30 miles per hour. So if you have anything outside, please do make sure that it is bolted down. And we'll take a look at the rest of your forecast for you coming up. Things do change throughout the rest of the week. On Monday, we see that it's starting to get really hot, and by Tuesday, we cool down. That's it for the weather today. Kate, what do you have coming up?
With a click of the heel and the turn of a bow, a colorful mariachi festival took center stage in downtown Phoenix this weekend. Coming up, more on how this vibrant culture is growing in all parts of the state.
The confidence to lead our country.
This isn't reality television.
I feel like Hamilton reached out from history and wouldn't let me go until I told his story.
I make no apology for my actions. I would do the same again.
How have we come so far and yet have so far to go?
Right there, coming up.
In 1920s Melbourne,
careful with the hand luggage. My pistol's in there somewhere and it may still be loaded.
Phryne Fisher is a detective.
Things could get interesting around here.
Thought they already were.
Who isn't afraid to live a little.
I hope you're not concealing a dangerous weapon under that skirt.
I'm concealing a lot of things.
Why do you think you could just run off on your own?
Because I'm carrying a gun.
The irresistible series, Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries.
Saturday night at 10 on Arizona PBS.
Hi, I'm Charlie Rose. As part of the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU, Arizona PBS is providing a state-of-the-art venue for the next generation of journalists. From newsrooms in Washington, Los Angeles, and here in Phoenix, students engage in real-time, real-world news reporting, broadcast production, and online innovation. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS working together in new ways to bridge the classroom to the community in the digital age.
Phoenix hosted the first Mariachi Festival Food City Conference, headlined by the internationally renowned Mariachi Vargas.
As Cronkite News reporter Katie Beery shows us, it was also a chance for Arizona mariachis to showcase their talent.
Whether you call it rhythm or ritmo, this fast-paced, colorful world of mariachi music took center stage in Phoenix.
Tucson is considered the melting pot of mariachi in Puerto Rico, and I feel like now it's starting to get more and more involved through Phoenix.
Definitely, it touches you, exactly, it touches you.
Conrado Duarte is a lifelong mariachi fan.
Makes you feel the song. It can be any type of song, and you can just feel it within your heart and your soul.
Being a successful mariachi performer requires a few things: rhythm, practice, and of course, the luck.
When you see the region state of Jalisco, what I'm in right now, with the charro suit, it's representative of the state of Jalisco, where mariachi music was born.
The costumes of the ballet folklorico dancers are just as elaborate.
The skirt itself kind of represents the waves of Veracruz. A lot of Spanish influence because they landed on the port, their primary religion being Catholicism. And the design represents the slaves of the Spanish.
The show allowed performers to share their heritage and history with a modern audience. In Phoenix, Katie Beery, Cronkite News.
It's been years in the making, but today the Arizona Coyotes announced plans for their new home. The Coyotes enter an exclusive agreement with the master developer of the Arizona State University Athletic Facilities District to build a new arena in Tempe. The site of the proposed arena is the northwest corner of Rio Salado Parkway and McClintock Drive. The project would create a 16,000-seat NHL arena with an attached 4,000-seat multi-use arena that will be used by Sun Devil Athletics and local youth hockey groups. Plans also include a hotel and food and entertainment surrounding the arena. They expect the arena to open in 2019 and will continue to play in Glendale until then. That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.